Have you ever tried to automate something online only to have your script just click the completely wrong thing? It's frustrating, right? Well, today we are going to demystify the tool that solves that problem for good, XPath. And I promise, by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to make your web automation scripts do precisely what you want every single time.
Okay, so picture this. You've built a bot to log into a website. Simple enough. But that login page has a bunch of buttons, links, and fields. So how do you tell your program with 100% certainty to click this specific login button and not, say, the forgot password link sitting right next to it? Well, that is the exact problem that XPath was born to solve.
So, the answer? You give it an address. No, seriously, think about it just like a street address for a house. Every single element on a web page, every button, every link, every text box can have its own unique path. We call this an XPath, and it is, without a doubt, the most reliable way to tell your program exactly what to click, type into, or grab.
All right, so let's get our hands dirty and actually write one. We're going to start with the basic formula for these web addresses, and you're about to see that it's way simpler than it looks.
Let's break this down piece by piece, sticking with our address analogy. The first part, those 2 slashes, just means, hey, search anywhere and everywhere on the page. The tag name is the type of house, you could say. Is it an input field, a button, a link? And this is where the magic happens. The part in the brackets is the unique street name and number. It's the detail, like an ID being username, that tells it apart from everything else on the block.
So here's what that looks like in the wild on a typical login form. To find the username field, we're just saying, look for an input tag anywhere on the page where the ID attribute is exactly username. The same logic works perfectly for the password field. And for the login button, we're just targeting a button tag with the ID btn submit. See, it's simple, it's precise, and it's incredibly powerful.
Now, those basic addresses are a fantastic start. But what happens when the elements you're looking for don't have a nice, clean, unique ID? For that, we're going to need some more powerful tools, and that's where functions come in. They give us way more creative and flexible ways to find what we're looking for.
First up is the text function. So, what if a link doesn't have a unique ID? No problem at all. We can just target it based on the words you can literally see on the screen. For instance, we can find any link, which is an A tag, that has the exact text register. Easy.
But you know, the web is a messy place. What happens when the text isn't always the same? Think about an error message. One time it might say incorrect password, and another time it might say invalid password attempt. If we're looking for the exact text, our script is just going to break. So how do we get around that?
Well, meet your new flexible friend that contains function. Instead of needing to match the entire sentence, it just looks for a key piece of it. So we can just say, hey, find me any div where the text contains the word password. And just like that, it'll find our error message, no matter what the rest of the text says.
Okay, here's another one you are going to see all the time. Some websites use dynamic IDs that change every time you load the page. You might see a username field with an ID of user123 today and user453 tomorrow. The numbers are random, but that user part at the beginning, that stays the same. So how do you target that?
For this exact scenario, we use the starts with function. It's perfect. We can just tell our program to find any input field where the ID attribute starts with the text user. It completely ignores whatever numbers come after it. This makes our automation scripts so much more robust.
All right, we've got some great tools in our belt now, but we can get even more precise by combining multiple conditions together. This is for when you need to be absolutely positively sure you're getting the right element.
So you've got 2 main players here, and or. Think of and as being super strict. It means an element has to match all the conditions. For example, its name has to be username, and its ID has to be username. Both have to be true. On the other hand, or is much more chill. It gives us flexibility. It'll match an element if its name is username or its ID is username. As long as one of those is true, we've got a match.
And for our final section, we're going to tackle a very common headache. What in the world do you do when there are multiple elements on a page that look exactly the same to your script? I like to call these the identical twins of the web.
I mean, really think about it. A web page could have 5 different add buttons or a bunch of links that all have the exact same class and text. If your XPath matches all of them, which one does your program click? It's basically a lottery at that point, and it's a surefire way to get unpredictable results.
Luckily, the solution is beautifully simple. It's just a 2-step process. First, you write an XPath that finds all the identical elements, and you wrap that whole thing in parentheses. That creates a group, like a collection of all the twins. Second, you just add a number in square brackets at the end to pick the one you want. You want the first one? Use 1. The second one? 2. And so on. It's that easy.
Let's look at a couple of real-world examples. Say you want to click the very first Add button on the page. You just write the XPath to find all of them, wrap it up, and specify 1. Or maybe you need to target the second of 2 identical links. Same deal. Group the locator that finds both, then pick the second one with 2. This gives you absolute surgical precision.
And just like that, you've pretty much unlocked a new superpower for web automation. Seriously, let's just do a quick recap of the awesome tools you now have in your toolkit.
So, let's run it down. You've got the basic formula for finding any element by its attributes. You've got powerful text functions like text, contains, and starts with to handle dynamic content. You can get super specific using logical operators like and or. And finally, you can handle any identical duplicates using simple indexing.
With these tools, you can find pretty much any element you want on a page. But that brings up a new question, doesn't it? What if you find an element, but what you really need is the element right next to it, its sibling? Or maybe the element that contains it, its parent? Well, that, my friends, is the next level of XPath, and it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.